Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Grand Theft Auto 5 video, I'm going to be talking to you guys about the top 10 things that all Grand Theft Auto Online players absolutely hate. That's right, today we're going to be talking about the things that drive us absolutely crazy, make us go insane, and just want to leave every Grand Theft Auto Online lobby, and some of the things that we hate the most in Grand Theft Auto Online. So as always, I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments section down below. What are some of the things that bother you the most in online? Were they on this list? Were they not? If they weren't, let me know in the comments section down below. If you agree with any of them, be sure to drop a like on this video. But of course, without the way, let's not waste any more time, and let's get it started. So this is definitely not in any particular order, but I feel like we must start with this individual, and that is LJT and his constant calling. So it seems like Long John Teabag has become the Roman Bellic of Grand Theft Auto Online.
Nico, it's Roman. Let's go bowling.
This guy seems to call you every chance he can get, and I don't really know what his algorithm is for how often he calls or why he calls, but it seems like LJT has a reason for everything, and for the most part, you can't even ignore his calls. They're answered automatically, which makes them incredibly obnoxious, and they always seem to come up at the worst times, like when you're in a firefight with someone, or when you're in a store trying to order something, or when you're doing something with friends. LJT can't seem to leave you alone, and this kind of reinforces the point that I think we need like a turn off phone feature or like a do not disturb mode, because LJT is the epitome of that annoying person that keeps calling you. All he does is call over and over and over and over again, and ever since the Bikers update came out, he has been so obnoxious. So I don't know about you guys, but I wish LJT would just leave me alone, but unfortunately, I don't see that happening anytime soon, and we're just going to have to deal with him in Grand Theft Auto Online going forward. At the number 2 spot, unnecessary wanted levels and overly aggressive cops. So I kind of put these in the same category because they were super related. So the first part is getting a wanted level when you either do nothing or either someone is not around. What's actually really odd, and this is something I talked about a year ago on my channel, is that Grand Theft Auto Online and GTA 5 considers like animals and inanimate objects as witnesses to your crimes. So that's why when you're on top of Mount Chiliad and a bird sees you shoot someone, you get cops called on you, which I think is kind of dumb. And also the overly aggressive police officers, as you can see here. I'm absolutely doing nothing wrong or illegal. I'm just standing next to a police officer, and you can see these guys turn on me pretty quickly, which is just one example of some of the crazy things the police do in game. We also know that they love to like ram their police car into you, thus giving you stars and blaming you. They'll shoot you on sight for pretty much doing absolutely nothing. Needless to say, the police in Los Santos are a little overkill, no pun intended, and they definitely have their issues, that's to say for sure. At the number 3 spot, NPC drivers. It seems as if no one in Los Santos has gotten their driver's license, or at least maybe did it through some shady back deal, because the NPC drivers are almost out to get you. There's so many opportunities where they will shift lanes unnecessarily, where they will stop in front of you, where they will purposely run into you, then get out of their car, blame you for the accident, trying to pull you out of your vehicle, blaming you for the whole thing. So yeah, the NPC drivers need some work as well. They seem to have an absolute ton of issues, whether it's just staying straight in their lane or, like I said, recklessly merging into yours. There just seems to be so many things going on with the NPC drivers. It's like they've never operated a vehicle before, and that definitely seems to be one of the most frustrating things in online, especially when you're trying to do like a mission. It's not that bad in free mode, but when you're trying to do a mission or a car show or something like that, man, can it be pretty frustrating. At the number 4 spot, the mechanic delivery. So I've seen some pretty funny images from you guys where the mechanic has like delivered your car on top of the Maze Bank building and on top of other buildings like Benny's shops. Those are some extreme and rare situations, but what more commonly is happening is just the mechanic not knowing where you are. So this typically happens when you're on either an area with multiple roads or multiple access ways, or there's many dimensions, like you're either underneath the highway or you're on the highway and it puts the car below on the ground somewhere. So needless to say, maybe it's Johnny on the spot that's been missing, and his magic touch is what is causing all of this. But it seems recently the mechanic is just someone that doesn't really know where to put your vehicle. They're either, super far away away that you have to run to or on a different road altogether, why can't it just spawn right in front of us? Or why can't we determine where it spawns? Like we click where we want it to be delivered. That seems like it would be the most logical thing to do. So I'm not sure why we have this weird like mechanic feature that requires us to like look in the opposite direction. That just seems kind of weird to me. At the number 5 spot, Pegasus delivery not working. So if you've watched any of my live streams, you know how frustrating this is, where the Pegasus delivery service will simply not put the vehicle in. You'll drive or fly to the location, and then as soon as you get there, they're gonna give you a call and say, sorry, we couldn't deliver your vehicle. What do you mean you couldn't deliver the vehicle? You just gotta put it right there. The Pegasus delivery service is by far the most inconsistent of many of the callers you can have in game in terms of it working. Now, in an invite-only session, it's not terrible. It does seem to work, a little bit better. But when you have a lot of people in the lobby, like what I like to do, especially on my live streams, getting a Pegasus vehicle in is nearly impossible. And for many of us, that can be so frustrating going from location to location just to have them call you and say, sorry, we couldn't deliver the vehicle whatsoever. At the number 6 spot, we've all had this happen to us, and that would be stealing a random vehicle off the street, and boom, it's a semi-unwanted vehicle. So we've all been in that situation where we just need a car to get from point A to point B. We don't really care what it is, so we grab the closest thing off the street, and as soon as we get in, instant 2-star wanted level, and it says, Simeon would like to have this car delivered. Go to the Los Santos custom shop first. It's the most annoying thing in the world. You've either got to outrun the cops or wait them out, which you could be doing something important, so you might not necessarily have the time for that. Or number 2, you've got to waste your Lester, call the cops off, and then you don't have that for another 4 or 5 minutes. So needless to say, that's one of the most frustrating things ever. I wish you could turn that off and online, the Simeon car list, because sometimes he has some good cars on that list, like sports cars and SUVs and nice things like that. So having the ability to turn that off would be nice as well, and I know it would save tons of us a bunch of frustration. At the number 7 spot, I think this one's more for me, but I would love it in invite-only lobbies if we could change the time and the weather, kind of having more of like a sandbox feature. So the reason I say this is because I like recording my gameplay in the daytime as best as I can. I think it looks clearer and better for you guys. I don't really like recording things at night, and there'll be many instances where I'll jump into the game and it'll be nighttime and I'll say like, oh, I've got to wait this out. But there's also many people that would maybe want to just do everything they do in online during the night or during the day or during the morning, and I'm not sure why we can't bend the rules a little bit in an invite-only lobby, especially if it's not affecting the general public. So that's something I think would be pretty cool, adjusting the time and the weather if you are in maybe an invite-only lobby where it won't impact other player groups in online. At the number 8 spot, gang attacks in important spots. We've all been there where we're trying to do something like a car show or hang out with friends, and then boom, that little red circle appears on the screen, and you guys know what's next. The gang attack is going to happen, whether you want to or not, and then all of a sudden, out of the woodworks, these guys come shooting at you and completely ruin what you were doing. The gang attacks are scattered everywhere throughout Los Santos and Blaine County, and some of them are in important locations like, the Chiliad Tunnel. You've got one on Trevor's Airfield, like where many car shows take place. Some are in the middle of downtown Los Santos, so that can be slightly annoying as well. So once again, I wish we had the ability to remove gang attacks from the map, make them kind of an optional thing. Certainly, I'm not recommending removing any of these features, or at least the gang attacks, but having the ability to turn them off based on what lobby you're in would be a nice feature for Rockstar to add. At the number 9 spot, we've all been here, and more recently on my live streams, we've all been here where we climb Mount Chiliad, and then all of a sudden, something goes wrong, you're blown up, you're shot, you get killed, and for whatever reason, instead of either Rockstar spawning you at the base of the mountain or at the top of the mountain, they for whatever reason put you on an impossible angle on the side of the cliff, making it nearly impossible for you to escape. In this situation, you can't phone one of your vehicles, you can't call a helicopter to pick you up, you can't do anything. The best case scenario you could try and do is like walk up the mountain with like your pistol out, but typically that will only work if it's a smaller or slighter, incline. Going up Mount Chiliad is typically not going to be good for you, and you'll end up falling and tumbling to your death over and over and over again. It's a pretty terrible cycle, to say the least. Really, the only thing that can save you here is like someone inviting you to a heist or to their apartment. Other than that, you are kind of screwed. So I wish Rockstar would work on their Chiliad spawning system, not putting you in the middle of nowhere and essentially leaving you good for dead for a long, long time. All right, and finally, last but not least today, at the number 10 spot, Heist players leaving. So this is more of an issue when I was playing Heist, but it typically happened like once every 2 or 3 times where you assemble a lobby, maybe you're trying to do it with randoms, which once again is probably not the best idea, and then you're either halfway through the Heist mission and someone ends up leaving. Very, very frustrating. I'm not sure why, like no other system in the game works like that. Like if someone leaves a TDM, it doesn't just end. If someone leaves a race, it doesn't just end. It just, goes on without that player. And I know the heists are different because you need everyone, but I don't know why it doesn't give you the opportunity to maybe invite that person back, get a new player in, like pull up an invite screen where you can invite your friends. To me, that would make the most sense. So I'm not sure why that's a thing or why it just completely ruins the heist for everyone, but I think that's something that needs to be reworked. Unfortunately, I don't think it will, just because of how old the heist missions are. But anyways, those are the 10 things that I think all Grand Theft Auto Online players absolutely hate, drive them crazy, annoy them, and just make them go absolutely insane. As I stated in the beginning of the video, if you have anything that drives you crazy in online, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear from you guys there. If you did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And also, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new or like daily GTA 5 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.